Hello people on the internet! Today I'm finally back with a proper voice-overed video and I wanted to share with you guys how I set up my bullet journal for the month of July. The supplies I'm using to set up the spreads are some watercolors because I wanted to try them out, and then some watercolor brushes, obviously, a pencil to sketch the spread out beforehand because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and ruler and eraser, and also some Fineliners. I also love using water-based brush pens to add some colors to my bullet journal, so they're definitely a must. And I've also recently started to use some washi tape and random stickers and pictures that I found on the internet in my spreads. This month I also made some watermelon stickers that I will not be using in this video unfortunately, but in the future ones as well. Or not as well, but definitely. So, starting from May, I always do these goodbye and hello pages in simple black lettering. It's really just like a spread for me to experiment with different typography, and I just find it to be a nice starting point for the new month. And I don't do cover pages, so these are my cover pages. They might seem boring, but I just really like the minimalistic look to them. And also I like to outline everything first with Fineliners, so I will not be doing my setup page by page, but rather layer by layer, if it makes sense. For my monthly overview, I like the calendar look because it's spacey and not too crowded, and I can add appointments and events without having to fear that I'm going to run out of space, which is very important to me because it did happen to me in the past. Not that I'm very busy, but it did happen, just saying. And I like to use another notebook that is roughly the thickness of my journal when I'm reaching the edges, because having that notebook to lay my hand on just makes drawing so much easier. And I'm adding 2 more elements now to my monthly overview. Basically a column that is, in the style of a notepad for notes, and a small events tracker / overviewer thingy on the bottom that I might not even use. And I also want to apologize right now for my greasy hair that you can occasionally see, as I like to keep my head very close to the paper, and I thought I had it under control, but apparently, it did not work out. For my titles, I'm using modern calligraphy style titles that I'm outlining here because I want to add watermelon gradients to them later on. Oh, and yes, I like to have a theme for every month now, and this month's theme is watermelon because I love watermelon. It sounded really weird, but seriously, I love everything watermelon, except maybe for the seeds. I'm not too keen on the seeds yet. Also, I'm trying to experiment with spreads more now, and I'm trying to add a different spread every month just to see if it works out for me or not. This month I tried a gold spread and some bigger habit trackers. You will see more detailed later. And I'm also going to show you how I set up an example weekly spread in my journal. And if you make any mistakes like me, you can use white gel pen instead of whiteout, which can be a little bit too thick sometimes, and usually you make, or sometimes you make smaller mistakes that you can't really get, can really erase with whiteout. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I always try to experiment as with everything bullet journal related, with different layouts every week, but I still use older layouts that I love whenever, I'm running out of ideas, or in my case, when I just really like that layout. And I don't know why, but I need that little monthly overview in that corner for every month. It's not complete when I don't have it. And yeah, all the items that I use in the description box, by the way. Oh my god, that did not make sense. All the items that I used in this video will be in the description box, by the way. That's what I'm trying to say. Now I'm erasing all the pencil sketches, and I'm trying to be very careful about that, because if there's one thing I hate about erasing is that I might crumble the page and it never straightens out after that ever again. So I just try to really use my other hand to straighten that paper, and be patient. Just be patient. Now I'm adding the title for my golds and to-do spread. It just looks so ugly. I'm really not satisfied with that spread, and this has to be different. Yeah, anyways, after I've outlined everything with a fine liner, it's finally time to add some details to the spread. This month I used watercolors because last month I actually experimented with diluted water-based brush pen colors, and it worked out really nicely. You know, the paper can really take that color, that water actually. And so this month I finally dared to use some real watercolors, and what can I say? It was a minor disaster. I really need to learn how to use watercolors because it's not that simple, but it just looks beautiful when it's done right. Not in this case, but it can look beautiful. Anyways, I'm just adding some watermelons to this monthly overview, and I kind of regret adding all those watermelons along that edge because it makes it look a little too crowded for my taste, so not a fan of that. Which also reminds me, I actually wanted to go for a minimalistic look for this month, but we can all see what happened with that. Nothing. Or actually, Emily happened. Yeah. So, I'm adding some colors to the titles now, and to make everything look a little bit more saturated, I'm using the brush pen colors as watercolors, which by the way work fantastically. And I'm also adding some color details to my calendar because I want the dates to stand out more. And now, or not now, but after doing that, I just added some watermelons to the golds page on the bottom edge. Yeah, and by the way, like I said, I'm totally gonna change this page because I'm so not satisfied with how it turned out. Everything is wrong. From my tracker page, moving so fast with the topics, for my tracker page I used a pale pink color to write down the titles first, and then started working towards a watermelon gradient but with brush pens now. And in order to do that, you want to use a transitioning color, in my case it's that pale pink, and blend the top and bottom colors into the middle transitioning color fast before the ink dries out. Once you get the feel of it, it's not that difficult anymore, but a tad time consuming because you have to do it for every letter or else you won't get that gradient effect because the ink will dry out. Boo! Did I scare you? Okay, that sounded really weird, but I don't know what to say right now because it's quite self-explanatory. Well, you know, now I'm adding some watermelon seeds and the dates of July. Boo! Fell for that again? Hopefully. I'm sorry, am I being mean? Yeah, anyways, after adding those seeds, I'm adding some background colors, to my golds title, which I just don't like to look at it. I don't know why, I just kind of have this hatred now for this page. Then I added the dates onto these miniature calendar trackers, and I made the mistake to think that July started on the first Monday. So I used a gray pen to number those dates in order to show that those days belong to June. And I actually did not want to repeat the same mistake. Oh, surprise. But then I just went with the flow on my study plan, and it happened again. And for me, somehow July ended on the last Sunday, which it does not. So I used that gray pen again and try to show that those days belong to August. I don't know who I'm trying to show that to, but it was just important to me that, those days were filled and everything, but with different colors. Moving on to the weekly spread, the theme is still and will be watermelon, but that doesn't mean we have to use the same colors for every spread. So for example, this week, or for this spread, I used some brighter melon colors that work just as fine, and then added some details like a picture and then a melon on my to-do list. And I have to write the week number because it's just important. And also I added some washy because I wanted everything to be more balanced. Because I use such bright colors, I wanted the washi to just be simple and just, you know, be there but not be right in your eyes. And then added some watercolor elements to the meal log. And yeah, what else did I do? Okay, now I decided to add some shadows to the daily elements there, which was quite the tedious work, but I just love how it turns out in the end. I love adding those lined or those shadow effects. And I also really like having a meal log. That's actually something that I've discovered through bullet journaling, that it's just something that's quite interesting to see what you've eaten. And yeah, also I wrote the most simple quote ever, and since it had been raining for 3 days straight, I just hoped for a little bit more sunshine. That's what I wrote down there. And yeah, I wrote down my true feelings and aspirations and hopes, etc. Anyways, now I'm just adding some shadows to the titles and we're done. I know this is a little late, but hey, it's better late than never, right? And if you want to see these spreads filled and improved, then you can go ahead and check them out at my Instagram account, which is procrastinate_create. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with a weekly spread setup video soon, hopefully. Bye bye!